The podcast has been started yet. Then
Is the podcast started? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Awesome. So
Welcome to a special Halloween episode of SuggestCast.
On November 1st, the spookiest day of the year.
It's the spookiest day of November.
Wait, is daylight savings always right after Thanksgiving? Right after Halloween?
No, first of all, it's daylight saving time, not savings.
But I was asking about every year, so that's why I used the plural.
No, the plural is daylight saving times.
I don't think so.
It's an external plural.
You're
like mother-in-laws.
Stop it.
So, alright, so our suggestions from last time that we'll be discussing here, just the ones made by the three of us. They were Swansong, an episode of Columbo, a blog post by Raphael Bob Waxberg about Tia and Tamara from Sister Sister, and enjoy having workable spines.
Okay, let's start with enjoying having workable spines.
Alright, I found that one difficult to do. It was something I had trouble really focusing on much. I did try to make note of it a few times over the last couple weeks, but I don't know. I don't think I really got much out of it.
Oh, my assumption was that the fact that I didn't focus on it constantly was part of the enjoyment that I was supposed to be having.
I think that's a fair take on it.
Yeah, I guess that's reasonable. I guess a lot of the positive experiences I had were enhanced by my spine not actively hurting me.
Yeah. So yeah, I was able to like get up and move around and do stuff. I don't know that I'm going to reference it a lot because either people will all have had the experience already, or it will be rude to bring it up to them because they have a non and they'll probably get annoyed by that.
Yeah, Vincent, I hope you aren't too offended by us talking about all the fun we had with our spines working.
No, I think when I made the suggestion, I was probably digging for the kind of pity and sympathy that would result from other people realizing how fortunate they are to have spines that don't cause them problems. I should note, for some reason, at some point, maybe right now in the podcast, that I am on a mix of muscle relaxants, some prescribed, some expired, and it is having some effect on my ability to speak coherently and remain awake.
Have you noticed much difference between the expired and the unexpired ones?
Well, hold on, what?
Asking for a friend.
Mouse.
Oh, hold on, I have to go downstairs and look for a mouse.
Alright.
This is going to be an interesting mid-SuggestCast adventure.
Alright, we'll carry on.
Yeah, keep...
Oh, you're moving the video with you?
Yeah, well...
Oh, good, and this isn't actually an interruption at all.
No, yeah, I'll stay with you.
I was thinking that even you're going to go to another room and then come back and rejoin this. But this is better.
No, so you can... oh, hold on a second, we may have a mouse.
Animal mouse or computer mouse?
Animal mouse.
Oh.
You guys can go on and talk about Columbo or something.
Yeah, well, alright, we need to finish up this spine one. I think I'm going to give this one a thumbs down. Not because I don't appreciate having a working spine, but because, as Lewis said, this isn't really something to reference.
This feels more like a recommendation than a suggestion. I'll say that.
I'll note I did say that you didn't really need to discuss it on this episode when I suggested it last time.
It's not the rules, though.
Yeah, we discuss everything, even that which we shouldn't.
Okay. So
thumbs down from me, Lewis.
Yeah, thumbs down. Just to add insult to injury for Vincent, didn't even want us to talk about it, let alone vote on it. So I'll vote thumbs down. Awesome.
All right. So next, Columbo.
Yeah, Vincent, did you watch the Columbo episode?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you missed out.
Well, then let's let it ride for a week so that it's not just Ben talking about it.
Ah, but I had a bunch of notes about it.
Well, you can still have notes about it for next week.
No, I'm deleting them right now.
Well, I thought Matt watched it too, and since Matt's not here, maybe it'd be better to talk about it.
All right, I'll save those notes for later.
Vincent, did you read that blog post?
Yeah, I read that blog post.
Okay. Ben, do you want to talk about that, or do you want to let that one ride as well?
No, let's talk about it. You two both read it.
Yes. I also saw it get reused on the TV show BoJack Horseman.
Yes. You can talk about that as well if you'd like.
Well, I will. Vincent, are you...
I'm here. I'm still trying to catch a mouse.
Sorry, you're going to have to catch the mouse before we can have more of you talking?
No, you can talk now.
I'm going to talk while I'm drugged up on muscle relaxants and trying to knock them out.
Yeah, Lewis, we're still on SuggestCast. The broadcast is going out live.
I understand that.
So the airwaves.
Tell me about this blog post.
Yeah.
See, we're never going to catch this mouse. You should have just let the cat get it. I don't know what you wanted me
I
to do.
didn't make the cat not get it, but I didn't want a dead mouse hanging out in the house. Because the cat had,
I don't know what we were supposed to be coming down here to do.
well, remove a dead mouse or
I can't get that mouse
get
to
it
be
out
down in the
of-
basement now.
get it out of the house. I don't know.
I think we just secured the escape of the mouse by interrupting our cat's pursuit of it.
Is that good?
No,
We're on the goal here.
the destruction of all creatures in my house that have not been expressly invited is my goal.
Yeah.
Did you invite Jude and Julian?
Reluctantly,
Okay. But expressly.
but yeah,
The one time I was in your house, I was expressly invited.
That's because you're a vampire, Ben.
man, I'm exhausted. I just walked around and kneeled down and stood up.
If you show this mouse hunt on the video, maybe Lewis and I can help you with it.
Oh, I'm done with that. I'm just lying down in the dark again.
Cool.
I realized there's no point in trying to catch that mouse.
All right.
All
So,
saying now is you can't catch a mouse.
You know, cats are evolved for this kind of thing. In fact, that's probably part of why they became domesticated in the first place. You know, that's part of their utility to human beings. If you've got a cat in your house chasing the mouse, I think you just stay out of the way.
I would.
that's not about this blog.
That's because I'm lazy.
Hang on.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be talking about this blog post.
Yeah.
That blog post was stupid. Thumbs down. Next.
Can you elaborate on why you didn't like that blog post?
I hate all the who are you out of the cast of characters on some TV show thing. This is a TV show that most people have not seen and don't need to see. It's not a meaningful way to separate people.
Wait, Vincent, I'm worried that maybe the muscle relaxants are doing more to your brain power than you appreciated. I don't think it's intended as a serious exercise in are you a Tia or a Tamara.
No, it is. He really wants people to use that. He knows that it's stupid and funny, but he wants people to divide people that way.
I kind of felt like it was supposed to be a satire of such things. Especially when it breaks down into the Tias saying that there is no such thing as being a Tia or a Tamara, and the Tamaras knowing better, or vice versa.
Other way around.
I don't care, because Vincent's right.
It's not even worth. It's not even worth making a satire of that bullshit anyway.
Yeah, okay. So this is more hostile than Vincent's been in a while.
Yeah, it's like classic SuggestCast Vincent.
Maybe I should always be drugged up. I don't know. I don't feel. I don't notice. I don't notice being all that drugged up until I start to talk, and it's not like I feel like terribly different, but I can just feel that my speech is labored and slow.
Yeah. So I thought it was funny, but not, as funny as I wanted it to be.
Lewis, you're cutting out a bit for me.
I think he was just being thoughtful. He was thoughtfully retracting the volume of his voice.
I thought it was funny, but not as funny as it could have been.
Right. What would we refer to?
It was better on BoJack Horseman, I'll say that.
You know what really didn't work in BoJack Horseman was that gag where in like the first episode when the Catwoman gets thrown out of the car and she lands on all 4 feet.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense the way she flew up in the air. Like you could see on paper the joke they were trying to get across, that she gets thrown out of a car and she lands on all 4 feet because she's a cat. But then the actual animation of it didn't make any sense. There's a clear breakdown in communication between the writers and the animators on that show.
Interesting.
That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with the subject. Sorry.
Well, it does bring up an interesting issue of BoJack Horseman using this Tia and Tamara thing.
Technically, it doesn't. I did multiple times already.
Well, so when BoJack Horseman does it, it's not with characters from Sister Sister. It's with characters from a made-up TV show in the BoJack Horseman setting.
A character that is Sister Sister, but with Mr. Peanut Butter as the lead. But
Yeah.
Girls.
I hope it's just the one mouse. Like it's not a bunch of mice that are going to breed in my house.
This is the strongest episode of SuggestCast yet.
All right. So, talk more about this blog post. I still haven't heard anything from you about it, other than BoJack Horseman.
Wait a minute. Who recommended this, or who suggested this? This
No,
is
I
your
suggested it.
Ben's, but Ben wants more conversation before we get the reveal of why he recommended it to us, suggested it to us.
I'm having trouble hearing what you're saying. So I'm getting some echo from Vincent.
What?
You told me that son of a bitch.
How about that? Does that help?
Yeah, less echo now. Or
Okay.
no echo now, actually.
I'll bet Vincent's muted.
I'll bet he can manage to talk when he decides to.
Okay, so one time I wrote a quiz for one of those sites that lets you make quizzes, and it was what Captain Planet and the Planeteer are you? What Planeteer are you from Captain Planet?
Okay.
I just made it one question, and the question was, which of these 4 Planeteers do you want to be? And I didn't let them choose the one whose power was heart. And then their answer was whichever one of those they chose.
You didn't include all the Planeteers?
No, because you were only allowed to put 4 answers per question, and I was not interested in making one question for this quiz.
All right, so you made a very bad quiz.
People liked it because it cut through all of the BS that those quizzes normally have, because they just let them choose which one of the 4 they wanted their result to be, and then they got that result. And
I feel like that's how people take those quizzes often anyway. Like if you want to be the fire one, you answer saying, oh, I'm a real hothead about this.
right, yeah, but then like that seems like it's a waste of effort to like go through the process that way when the question's just which one's your favorite. Let me make it really inefficient for you to tell me. So Tia and Tamara, here, let me read an excerpt from this. Okay. It's a false dichotomy, of course, and I imagine that most people like to think of themselves as being somewhere around the middle of the Tia-Tamara continuum. See, now that must be, this is clearly indicating parody there. Like, there's no way it's not intended as parody with a line like that. What if you had to choose? Are you a Tia or a Tamara? His examples are sort of over the top in an obvious way. Like, it's difficult to define, but you know a Tia or a Tamara when you see one. It's Nixon versus Kennedy, Hillary Clinton versus Sarah Palin, Friedrich Nietzsche, classic Tia, first introduced the concept in The Birth of Tragedy, in which he wrote, Apollo is a Tia, Dionysus is a Tamara. In the pilot episode of Sister Sister, Apollo and Dionysus meet for the first time in a clothing store, thus The Birth of Tragedy. And I almost feel like if he just had that one paragraph, that would be great. But then it keeps going for like 15 more paragraphs.
Well,
So
more examples of what Tias and Tamaras are.
Yeah, I feel like if Ben's suggestion was watching a kind of clever idea get beaten to a pulp and overkill, I would be a fan of it. But if his recommendation is anything else, I'm unclear on whether it has that value. Here's why it works better on BoJack Horseman. On BoJack Horseman, they introduce it as one of those things where like one character is unaware of this like phenomenon of everybody categorizing themselves by this dichotomy, and then they get increasingly frustrated with the way in which it seems to be organizing everybody's life and like decision making and stuff. And so like having it repeat itself over and over again, that adds to the joke that they're doing. But here, I mean, it's just doing the same joke over and over again, I think. So that's my takeaway. Like, I didn't hate it as much as Vincent did, obviously, but I mostly liked it better when it manifested on BoJack Horseman. So Ben, now you talk about it.
Interesting. So I'm suggesting this mainly as an example of a ridiculous, oversimplified way of categorizing everybody. And I felt like it was a better example of this than the BoJack Horseman Zoe or Zelda thing, in that it's easier to give somebody else the experience of this, because you just have to read a short blog post instead of watching an episode of a TV show, and also the show being referenced is something that somebody might have familiarity with. People are more likely to have watched or heard of Sister Sister than they are Mr. Peanut Butter's show. I forget the name of it.
But couldn't you? I mean, okay, but the execution is so much better in BoJack Horseman.
Because the execution in BoJack Horseman is sort of notionally somebody has made a blog post like this, and then people are reacting to it. I mean, it isn't a blog post exactly. It's a guy talking about that party, but same deal. It's like this blog post is the sort of seed for the setup in BoJack Horseman.
Right. No, that is obvious.
I feel like seeing how people then relate to the idea once it's out there is kind of redundant. You can show somebody this blog post and they'll probably have a reaction like, it's oversimplified, but maybe you'll think, oh, this person I know is obviously a Tia. Or maybe they'll violently hate it.
Huh.
Turns out that's a thing. Yeah, the main thing I was suggesting it for is what it has in common with BoJack Horseman one. This absurd way of categorizing people based on a pretty forgettable TV show.
So not as satire of that sort of categorization, but as the categorization itself?
I was thinking it's sort of a way of satirizing it in that if somebody is talking about, oh, everybody falls into these categories based on the Three Stooges, you can bring up this example sort of to mock that idea.
So let me tell you what I think would be a better way to get that than this one.
Okay.
I'm going to link you to it in one of the link rooms. Here, I'll link it to you in Synod. It's a Slate article titled, "What Kind of Muppet Are You, Chaos or Order?"
Okay.
Are you familiar with this?
Muppet. No.
Okay. So
Actually, I
just
think you told me about this before, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, so the basic idea is this person said, hey, do you notice how some of the Muppets are frustrated by the way in which everything else... some of the Muppets are humorous because they are interested in things going normally and everything is chaotic around them, and some of the Muppets are interesting because everything that they do creates chaos. And so they say, the same thing is true of Muppet theory, a little-known, poorly understood philosophy that holds that every living human can be classified according to one simple metric. Every one of us is either a chaos Muppet or an order Muppet. Chaos Muppets are out of control, emotional, volatile. They tend towards the blue and the fuzzy. They make their way through life in a swirling maelstrom of food, crumbs, small flying objects, and the letter C. Cookie Monster, Ernie, Grover, Gonzo, Dr. Bunsen Honeydew, and paradigmatically, Animal, are all Chaos Muppets. Zelda Fitzgerald was a Chaos Muppet, so I must tell you is Justice Stephen Breyer. Order Muppets, and I'm thinking about Bert, Scooter, Sam the Eagle, Kermit the Frog, and the blue guy who is perennially harassed by Grover at restaurants, the Order Muppet Everyman, tend to be neurotic, highly regimented, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on. And it's just a more straight-faced version of what Raphael is doing there.
Well, this isn't quite the same thing, though. Like, Grover isn't a Chaos Muppet, but he's a Tia, not a Tamara.
I thought you were recommending it, though, as absurdly simple system for categorizing people, not the... I didn't pay enough attention to how to categorize Tias and Tamaras to care about what you just said, but you understand my point, that this is a binary division being offered in earnest. And I would say if you want people to get onto the idea of an overly simple binary categorization of the world, one that is based on the Muppets is going to be more accessible. One that's being offered in earnest is going to be less distracting, because people won't be like thrown off by the fact that it's clearly trying to be a joke.
Well, one drawback is that this article is much longer.
I don't actually know if it's much longer.
It's somewhat longer.
Hang on, I'm going to count paragraphs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
As you're counting is putting Vincent to sleep.
Vincent's already asleep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I honestly think the blog post you linked is longer.
I didn't count.
Is there a convenient site for word count?
Probably.
I'm just going to Google word count, and then we'll find out which one's longer.
Okay, well, to save time, you word count the Tia and Tamara one, I'll word count the Muppet one.
Okay. The Tia and Tamara...
Still muted. Just trying to
I
talk.
heard that.
What's the
Words for Tia.
Testing thing with like the 4 letters. Everybody's 4 letters, and they're like architects and shit.
Yeah.
Myers-Briggs.
Yeah, the made-up personality typing. That
See,
one does
that's-
not have the virtue of being overly simple. It's overly
Yeah,
complex.
but people take that one seriously.
I think that's why it's better because it's still total horseshit. Like you don't have to go to one that's like specially designed to be stupid. Take the real one, and it's just as useless and inaccurate and bullshitty as Tia's and Tamara's or Chaos Muppets and Order Muppets. You're still just gonna get a bunch of wrong answers and stuff that sounds like a fucking horoscope when you hear a description of the personality you're supposed to have based on the list of dumb questions that you answer. Any fucking personality thing, any categorization scheme is just a bunch of horse shit. Take your pick.
Okay, Ben, it is 80 words longer. I guess you win. The extra 80 words will clearly interfere.
Well, also the average word length is longer.
What? Keyword density.
I
Yeah, but
didn't check that.
the density of the word Muppet is higher, a lot higher in the Muppet one. I mean, I agree with Vincent that all categorization systems are, well, no, not that they're all bullshit, but that they're not, I mean, most of them are sort of wrong. Deeply.
Wow. You're such a Tamara.
Oh, God, Ben. It's not going to happen. Still.
See, that's exactly what that fucking dude wanted to happen. See, what sarcastically or not, that's what he fucking wanted. He wanted people to start using those phrases and calling people Tias and Tamaras. And that's exactly the kind of bullshit we're not going to buy into. We're not going to put up with it, Ben. None of that horse shit. Nobody's a fucking this or a that. I'm not even going to say their goddamn names.
Vincent's a bit of an order Muppet, if you think about it.
I'm not sure why you're opposed to that happening, Vincent.
I don't either. I have to think about it, but I can tell you emotionally, I find it very offensive.
I would not.
Sister.
Okay. So that about wraps it up for today. Oh, we got to vote. Vincent, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Ben?
Vincent, refusing to refer back to this or even say words associated with it.
So Ben, is that a thumbs up or a thumbs down from you?
I guess a thumbs down, since it turns out that this isn't really resonating for anyone except me, apparently.
Yeah.
Lewis?
Yeah, I'm also going to give it a thumbs down because I either prefer the Zoe Zelda or Order Muppet Chaos Muppet. All right, Vincent, do you have a suggestion for next time?
No, I got nothing productive to say.
Alright, I have a suggestion for next time.
Oh, joy.
It's the song Jaws by Lemon Demon.
Okay. Sounds good.
And I'm going to watch that Columbo thing. I just was preoccupied this week.
Yeah, no.
Understandable.
How do you think Columbo would catch a mouse?
I don't think
Careful questioning.
Yeah. Most of his techniques rely on somebody being like a hoity-toity upper-class person with hubris. So,
He
unless
would catch the city mouse, not the country mouse.
unless the mouse has some sort of like disdain for the working man, I don't think Columbo's techniques would work very well.
So, but what if he lowered his own apparent status to the point that the mouse appeared to be upper class to him? Like maybe if he disguised himself as a cockroach.
Or became a cockroach.
Right.
So what I need to do is get some cockroaches in the house as the first step towards getting rid of this mouse.
That sounds right.
But that's a recommendation, not a suggestion.
Yeah, I agree about the status of that.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so Vincent, you didn't have a suggestion, and Lewis, your suggestion is riding forward to next time?
Yeah, we're going to let mine ride.
Okay. And I guess we're done here. Thanks for watching SuggestCast.
Good night.
And happy November.